Okay, so as I'm sure you guys have probably seen by now, the Chicago Bulls have signed Stanley Johnson from the Toronto Raptors, the 25-year-old small forward, power forward combo. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this signing just yet. I wanted to come on here and share my brief thoughts right after the news was announced, which of course just came after I uploaded a video on what the Bulls were going to do about filling out their final roster spots. Ironic because the exact same thing happened when I made a video about Lowry Markkanen, and then just a few hours later, the Lowry Markkanen trade rumors, or I guess not rumors anymore, the confirmed trade came out shortly thereafter. So, Stanley Johnson, I actually remember when he was being recruited out of high school. I used to follow college basketball pretty closely at the time. I don't really follow it that much anymore. But at that time, he was a very touted prospect. He was the number 3 prospect coming out of high school in 2014. He then went to Arizona, played great there, was drafted 8th overall to the Detroit Pistons, and really ever since then, just kind of hasn't lived up to that potential. I would have preferred the Bulls to focus on someone that was maybe a better fit to give them a little more front court depth. I know that he can play the power forward position, but he is a better small forward overall. A 6'6" small forward, but a very long wingspan, is a decent defender. Not really a huge talent offensively, which isn't that big of an issue because the Bulls are pretty well stacked from an offensive perspective, at least as it pertains to the starting lineup. So, this is a good depth piece off the bench. I just would have preferred someone that was a little bit bigger, that's going to give them more of that front court depth, and that might still end up being the case. The Bulls do have 1 roster spot remaining if they choose to fill it. They do also have a 2-way spot available there as well. Just a quick note, Stanley Johnson averaged 4.4 points per game, 2.5 rebounds, and 1.5 assists last season playing for Toronto. He did play 61 games, a lot more than he has in prior seasons, did start 13 of those. Again, not the best shooter. He's definitely not efficient as shooting from 3, although he has improved his 3-point shot steadily over the past couple seasons. So we'll see how this actually plays out. I think it's a decent signing. We'll have to see what the actual transaction looks like in terms of if this is a veteran minimum deal, how many years we've actually agreed to sign Stanley Johnson. I think most likely it's probably going to be a 1-year deal. Stanley Johnson's not the type of player that you want to lock in for the long term. You probably want to see how he does with this roster, and if he proves himself, then maybe they can sign him or extend him to a longer term deal. So more information will be coming out about that. I'll likely have a more detailed video on this specific signing, likely tomorrow or the next day. But I did want to share that this news just came out. So I like the signing in the sense that, yes, it provides the Bulls some decent added defense off of the bench. Again, a little bit small for a power forward. He can play that role, but I think that the Bulls are still going to need to solve for that front court depth, an actual power forward coming off the bench. And you guys can get my thoughts more on that as far as what options would be available to the Bulls in my video that I uploaded earlier this morning. But until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan, as I do post daily Bulls content. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.